Something read me. Did you hear that? Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just the wind. Do you believe in ghosts? Most people say no, until something happens to them, until they hear footsteps in an empty hallway, until they see a shadow that shouldn't be there. I live in a town that looks completely normal. Quiet streets, friendly neighbors, nothing unusual. At least, that's what they want you to think. Because for the last few months, I've been digging into something. Something the people here don't talk about. Something the local authorities would rather you never find out. Introduction. My town is small. The kind of place where everyone knows everyone. There's a single main road, a few shops, an old school, and a small graveyard at the edge of town. For years I lived here without ever questioning anything. But about 6 months ago, an old neighbor, a woman in her 70s, told me something in passing. She said very casually, "You know, this whole street used to be part of the old cemetery grounds before they built houses here." She said it like it was nothing, like it was common knowledge. But I had never heard that before. And when I asked others, nobody wanted to talk about it. That's when I started looking deeper. And what I found changed how I see this town completely. The problem. Here's what I discovered. Over the past 20 years, there have been multiple reports, formal and informal, of strange occurrences in this town. Noise complaints about screaming with no source. Reports of figures seen walking through backyards at night, who vanish before anyone can identify them. But here's the strange part. Almost none of these reports were ever investigated. I found 3 separate incidents where police were called, arrived, wrote a brief note, and closed the case the same night. No follow-up, no statements taken. I spoke to a retired officer, someone who used to work in this area. He didn't want to be named, but he told me, "We were told not to write certain things in the reports. Just keep it simple. Don't make it a bigger story than it needs to be." Why would anyone tell police officers to downplay reports? Unless they didn't want people asking questions. Story 1. The Old Schoolhouse. The first story I want to share happened at the Old Schoolhouse on the edge of town. It's been abandoned for almost 15 years. Windows boarded up, fence falling apart. A man named, let's call him R, used to work as a night security guard there before it closed permanently. He told me that during his final year working there, he started hearing children's voices, laughing, running footsteps in empty hallways. At first, he assumed it was kids sneaking in. One night, he decided to check the cameras. The hallway camera showed nothing. Empty hallway, no movement. But the audio, picked up by the same camera, recorded clear laughter and running footsteps. At the exact same time, the hallway showed empty. He showed this footage to his supervisor. The next day, he was told the recording had been lost due to a technical issue. He was let go a week later. No explanation. When I tried to find old records about the school's history, I found something disturbing. In the 1970s, there was a fire in that school. 3 students died. The official report says it was an accident, faulty wiring. But 2 former teachers I spoke to, separately without knowing about each other, both used almost the exact same phrase. They said, "It wasn't wiring, everyone knew that." but that's what they put in the papers. Story 2. The House on Mill Road. The second story involves a house that's still occupied today. A family moved in about 8 years ago. Young couple, 2 kids. Within the first year, they started noticing things. Doors that they had locked found open in the morning. A cold spot in the upstairs hallway that never warmed up, even in summer. And the kids, both under 10 at the time, started talking about the lady. They described her the same way, separately. A woman in a long, dark dress, standing at the end of the hallway, not moving, just watching. The mother eventually recorded audio in the house overnight, just leaving a phone recording in the hallway. What she found on that recording, she showed me herself. For most of the night, silence. Then, at 2:47 a.m., a woman's voice, very faint, saying a name. Not anyone's name in the family, a name none of them recognized. She took this recording to the local historical society, hoping someone could help identify who the woman might be. She told me the person there listened to it, went pale, and told her, "I think you should leave this alone." When she pushed for more information, she was told the historical records for that property were currently unavailable for review. I tried requesting those same records myself. I was told the same thing. Unavailable for a house built in 1952. The breakthrough. Here's where things got personal. After everything I had found, I decided to do something I probably shouldn't have. I went to the Old Schoolhouse myself, at night. I brought a camera, a flashlight, and an audio recorder. For the first 30 minutes, nothing. Just an old, empty building, dust, broken windows. Then, near what used to be the main hallway, my flashlight flickered. Just once. I told myself it was the battery. I kept walking. And that's when I heard it. Not loud, not dramatic, just a child's voice, very close to me. It said one word. Stop. I turned around immediately. Nothing there. I checked my recorder later that night. The word was there, clear as anything. A child's voice saying, "Stop," at the exact same timestamp I heard it. I haven't gone back since. So what does all of this mean? I can't prove ghosts are real. I'm not going to pretend I have all the answers. But I can tell you this. This town has secrets. Records that go missing. Reports that get buried. People who tell you, quietly, to leave it alone. Maybe it's old trauma the town doesn't want to revisit. Maybe it's something else entirely. But the pattern is too consistent to ignore. Something happened here. Multiple somethings. And for whatever reason, someone, somewhere, decided the public didn't need to know. I think every town has a version of this. A history that's been quietly smoothed over. Stories that get told once and then never again. So now I want to ask you something. Does your town have a story like this? A house everyone avoids. A building with a bad history no one explains. A place where something happened that nobody talks about anymore? If it does, I want to hear about it. Write it in the comments. Tell me what happened. Tell me what you were told or not told. Because if there's one thing I've learned from all of this, It's that these stories don't go away just because no one talks about them. They just wait. If you want more investigations like this into the things towns don't want you to find, subscribe to Horror Nights. There are more stories coming, and some of them might be closer to you than you think. Good night.